Welcome to Talking Greatness. I'm your host, J.O. Staxx, and I have a very special guest in the building here, my good friend, Dayda Banks.
What's up, what's up?
So we're going to kind of switch our style here. We're going to play a game of chess this time because, you know, this is the chess master. I've yet to beat him. So, but before that, let's get a little freestyle out of you here.
Bars.
Let's hear some bars, man. I know I put you on the spot like that, but let's hear it.
So if every day's a miracle, the world is proof it's spherical. Empirical place we live in, science versus spiritual. What's it do to do when holding your tongue is unbearable? We still inside the dark ages, mind is solving the terrible. Money's motivation, so we live it by the decimal. Freedom is a word that we confuse it with expendable. Beauty is something that we don't really understand, cause the man's only goes to fuck a centerfold. All we know is life is moving faster than that cherry on your cigarette. I remember ripping off the best songs on the tape cassette. I remember thinking one day it would be amazing if some kids would steal my music off the radio. See, I'm a visionary. My dreams are hella scary. I put myself in this position to be legendary. Do what I want, and I don't mean no disrespect, but homie, I control the distance and my ripple effect.
Oh, there we go. Dayda Banks with that. Is that off the dome or is that kind of pre-written stuff?
No, that's one of my favorite verses. I never ended up using it, though. So.
Because you said you're not much of a freestyling kind of dude, hey?
Not too much, no, man. I like writing songs more. I guess I never practiced it, so I never was as good. I can freestyle, but I'm just not confident enough in it, you know, that I don't do it as a sport. And I definitely admire everybody that can, because to me it's so foreign, it's like a foreign language. But
yeah.
I love it. It's something I look up to personally. So.
Well, I guess since it's your house here, you start off the game here, and then we'll start kind of going with this here.
Sure,
So first off is Dayda Banks.
White always goes first on this.
Yeah, there we go.
All right. No pressure on camera.
Oh, shit. So for the people who don't know who you are, give us a little background of who you are and what you're all about.
My name's Mitch. I go by Dayda Banks as an MC name. Songwriter. Everything about it I love doing. So it's been years now. And, we finally have a team of people together that are working towards something. We're not sure what it is, but it's heading somewhere, and all around it's just been an amazing experience. So music has become such a big part of my life these days that I'm just thankful for everything that's happened so far, and hopefully it just gets bigger and better, right?
Because you started what in 2012? 12. So that's 5 years deep. Like, what's something that what keeps you inspired to keep creating music after all these years? I know. Me personally, I've been doing this for a while as well, and I've seen so many people just fall off the map. So what is it that kind of keeps you inspired to kind of keep going?
I guess I'm stuck inside my own head. Songwriting is therapy, really. It's kind of it's your own world. It's a way to step out of your everyday into your own world, and so to stay inspired, I guess. Maybe those that don't stay inspired let other people get into their heads and they get convinced that they should stop or that they're not good enough. But I mean, do it for yourself and you can stay motivated. It doesn't. I do it for myself first, and I hope people like it when I put it out. And if they do, great. And if they don't, so be it.
As you said in Mexico that one time, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? Not everybody's going to like it, and that's cool. And everybody's entitled to their own opinion and their own type of music that they listen to. Luckily enough for me that people have been kind enough to listen and support it.
Actually, I know we were kind of talking about this loosely one time, and I remember it kind of inspired me as well. You said that you keep rapping so you don't have to grow up.
That's also true.
It's I can see that's one of the things that does keep you young. It kind of keeps hope, kind of going on, and it's
definitely.
Yeah.
100%. You couldn't have said it better.
Well, do you know what? It was your words, so.
Yeah, that's true. But when somebody else says it to you, it just sounds important.
Yes.
Yeah, fantastic.
And so when it comes to your music there, who inspires you? What's actually currently in your playlist right now that kind of you can say influences your style of music?
Oh wow. There's a ton of people. I'm really bad for listening to 3 songs from one person, 10 songs from another. I've been trying to be more of an album guy. I feel like I owe it to listen to full albums. You know, I should be listening to them. Lately, I've been listening to lots of Logic. I've been listening to his Under Pressure album, and I think he's a stand-up MC. And I like how he's a super big nerd, because I feel like I'm a big nerd too. You know, I see his concerts and stuff, and he's wearing the NASA jackets. And I remember like 2 years ago trying to find one. I was like, I need a NASA jacket. But at the time, I was too fat to be an astronaut, so I don't think they made jackets in my size, you know. So now I'm gonna get one of those now, because I just said that and I reminded myself of it.
Hey, plus you've been hitting the gym too, man. So you're slimming down and
yeah, trying to, yeah, for sure. Can't be chubby forever, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, we can be an astronaut one day, baby.
Fantastic. Yeah. That's right. They're making that. Elon Musk, Virgin.
Yes.
I'm going to space at some point, for sure.
And hopefully I will be there with you.
Fantastic. We'll go. It'll be hype.
So with that as well, is out of all the artists in the world right now, who is someone like you would die to collaborate with? You think it would be a good, I guess it doesn't have to be necessarily aligned with your style, just someone who you respect in the game. Like who would that artist be?
You know, ironically, actually, I just said I was listening to Logic, but I would love to do a song with a guy like that. Because again, the style is there. Like, you know, I still think at my age it's cool to just be like a sci-fi junkie collecting toys and games. Like my buddy Travis for Acadelic or Trill Monroe is a huge collector, and I'm always, you know, we're grown men that still mess around with toys and video games, and I'm always watching literally documentaries about space.
Yeah, if you can see this, there's actually, space is on in the background here. There you go. So,
yeah. You know, like that's just my jam. So, yeah, I definitely respect his music a lot. So that would be somebody that I could, in that dream world, see like a really cool song coming together, you know?
Actually, that was something when I was in the gym, I came up with this question as well that I didn't send you earlier. But what was it that got you so into like space and you know, galaxies? Was there a specific moment or like a TV show, or what actually got you so into that? You know,
probably like my older brother, for sure. And yeah, like when I was a kid, you know, there was kids watching whatever. Like, what did you watch?
Right.
Babar.
No. Actually, that was.
He seemed like a Babar guy.
Yeah, in the mornings before school. Yeah, or was that lunch?
Arthur
yeah.
At lunch. I was watching things like Bucky O'Hare, and I was watching. My brother had me big into like, oh man, like Star Trek, and Star Wars was like the pinnacle of my childhood for sure. And then my dad, you know, instead of reading like kids books all the times, we had like the diagram books of like space shuttles, so you'd be like, oh, that's where the coolant goes, you know. Like so like we were definitely just like sci-fi inspired. So ever since then, you know, if I chose a genre in anything, yeah, I would always choose sci-fi first over like action or mystery or anything. I always like sci-fi, and I like space. I think it's cool. I think we're very small and unimportant, you know. So I find that it's interesting. You know, it's just an interesting.
So basically, you kind of got a taste of it and just kind of fell in love with it, and now you're here today. Because they say you even have it tattooed on your arm. It's such a, even in your new logo for Vagabonds, it's a very crucial part of your story, I guess. So,
sure. Yeah.
So it's that's dope.
Yeah, you know, and like as far as the tattoos come, when I was a kid, I always wanted tattoos for sure, but I was always like, maybe I should think about it a little bit more. I don't want to just get something that I'm not going to like later. And I know in like 10 years, I'll still be like a sci-fi guy.
Yeah.
Know? So I'll look at that. I'll be like, sweet.
Yeah, I think sci-fi is one of those genres you don't really grow out of. It's one of those things because there's so much unknown that you basically, once you're sci-fi, you're pretty much locked in for life, you know.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you find yourself going to like Comic-Con with Travis.
Yeah.
And,
So have you guys been yet or no?
We went in Edmonton.
Yes.
I haven't been to San Diego though. I'd like to go. Travis, if you're out there, let's go to San Diego. But yeah, it was really cool, you know, and it's interesting to see people that are like make you look like I don't know anything about sci-fi, and these guys are all dressed up, you know, give a high five to Boba Fett kind of thing,
yeah,
you know, that type, yeah. So yeah, really like that.
It's actually your move there, and I will actually bring in the next question here. Is explain to us how you came up with the Dayda Banks name, and also what was your original rap name?
One second. Dayda Banks.
Shit.
First Blood. Dayda Banks is knowledge, you know, and it was interesting. I think we talked about this on the Master Debaters podcast a couple years ago. This is actually a copy of Vagabonds, and I'll get to that after. But I used to always carry my songs with me on a USB. I had a really crappy laptop, and I would carry my stuff with me on USB. So when I would go to a friend's house, I would always have my stuff with me. And I never really thought of it. And I was thinking of all these names, and actually, I was going back. I was talking to Dylan one day, and I was like trying to think of a name because I was trying to start writing music again, and I was kind of nameless. And I was holding my USB, and I was like, Dayda Banks. And when I said it, he was like, yes, that's hype. And I was like, yeah, I think it's really hype too. And I went with it. But the idea behind it, like on a bigger scale, I guess, is that it's basically data banks or data storage or is where you store all your knowledge, right? And so it was just supposed to be about, you know, holding intelligence or trying to be as smart as you can be, you know. So that was my Dayda Banks, and then I just became Dayda Banks. And
Nice.
It stuck, and people seemed to like it. It had a nice ring to it.
And for the listeners who aren't seeing the video portion of this, on his chain here, it's a USB drive. That's just a notice. So that's the other night here we're putting them together, and it's fun. Is making Dayda Banks with Dayda Banks. So it's a fun night there.
Yeah, so these are the physical copies of my newest project. It's called Vagabonds, and the physical copies, I wanted to do something that was cool. I've talked with lots of people that are like, you need to get hard copies made. You know, you should be doing that. And I thought of that, and I was like, yeah, you know, it'd be really cool to have your own CD. But then I was like,
you know, CDs are it's a dying thing, you know. So it's like
everybody streams, everybody does that, but people do need to use a USB every once in a while. So I figured with this, I could give a lot more than what was on a CD. So it has, you know, all my projects on it, and it has bonus content, video, pictures, just stuff that's not out there. And so I wanted to give a little bit more for that, as well as give you something that had my logo on it, where you could reuse it, and you know, you could show it to people. And I thought the chains were a nice touch, you know, black on black, like everything. And they're really cool. I really like them. I like the way they turned out, and I just thought it was something new and innovative that I hadn't seen anybody do before, you know, and just gives you something that's a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So now you're talking about Vagabonds. Let's turn our direction to that. What is the inspiration behind this new project? How would you describe it to viewers who haven't, say, necessarily listened to the lead single, Vagabonds, which is available online right now? But how would you describe the project in general? And
Vagabonds is the term is to wander aimlessly to an unknown destination. Like, you're basically going where you go. You're taking life where it takes you, you know. And so this last couple years, I had planned on putting out a project a lot sooner, and I just kind of got caught up in life. And I was enjoying myself, and I was traveling, and I was enjoying the people around me and trying to spend as much time with them as I could. And Vagabonds just kind of turned out the way it was. So it's heavily based around the theme of traveling and trying to do everything you can do before you can't do it, you know, whether life holds you down.
Right.
You know, or you die or something like that. And hopefully that doesn't happen, you know. But it was based around friendships and respecting time and using time as a currency instead of a crutch, you know. Trying to make the most of every day. And it turned out being 13 tracks. 4 of them I'd released as when I'd kind of said, hey, I'm not going to release a project at the moment. Mm-hmm. So I still wanted them on there because they still fit the project to a T for myself and the way I wanted to see it. But yeah, I'm really excited to hear what people think of it. And I mean, in November 5th, I'm excited for it. I think people are going to really enjoy it. I hope they do, you know.
So
that goes back to my last point, though. If they don't, we'll be like, still the same.
So again, it's your turn here.
Yeah, it was looking at that.
And I was going to bring into that was kind of extension onto Vagabonds there on the USB. What kind of extra bonus content can people expect from this your physical copies here?
The bonus content? There's a couple extra videos that we've put together that aren't on YouTube or anything like that. You know, I was doing a live set with Mike and Dean, and we have actually a throwback video for a song off of Roy Meets World. Roy Meets World. Yeah, not the Lucid Dreamer. So that'll be slick. I'm excited for that. Sean, my buddy Sean, he's putting that video together for me, and I'm really excited. I always like his videos. They're always so genuine and creative. Like, he always seems to catch the right moments.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's done some videos for us when we went to Coachella and when we went to Vancouver, and we went, you know, we've traveled a lot together. So he always seems to capture it in a way I never see other people capture it. So it's always good that way.
Yeah, I'll be excited to see that because you guys were I think what he was working on. You guys were working on it last night there too, and
Yes.
so it's almost done, which is good to hear. And
It's exciting. I think it's going to be. I think it'll be great. You know, I'm excited for it all. It's all kind of all coming together now, so it's become an overwhelming thing in the last month to try and make sure everything is on par. And so there's a whole bunch of gear coming in. You know, merchandise. I got the physicals, and we have shirts and hoodies and toques and hats and. I just tried to be as original with it as I could be, and I had some great help designing my logos. Achee helped me.
the man behind the camera right now.
The man behind the camera, yeah. He literally took my ideas and made them better than I thought they were, and I've never really experienced that. So it was a really, really humbling experience. Thank you, Michael. Always a pleasure.
And that's the thing I think is really exciting is, again, you mentioned earlier that there's we have a full team essentially in place. I'm assuming, I'm not too sure for your previous projects, is more so more on you didn't have that many people involved in the project. Is that correct? Or
in the past?
Yes.
Yeah, no, not really. You know, I've always been heavily inspired by the people around me, and so I've over the last 5 years since the music kind of started, but I've always kind of been around the same group of 6 to 10 people, and you know, they're not really musicians for the most part, actually. You know, I've spent a lot of time with Mike in the last year, and he always humbles me as a musician. He's extremely talented, you know. So it's nice to bounce ideas off somebody like that. But before that, no, none of my friends are involved with music, but they all inspire me. So my songs are, you know, through all of our lives. You know, we're all Dayda Banks, that kind of thing. And so I take a lot of inspiration from the people around me.
yeah, that's definitely a key element. And is there anything else you want to touch based on the music side of things? Because we're going to shift gears into a different line of questioning here.
All right. Well, that sounds super weird. No, sorry, I was trying to focus on the chess game at the same time too. It's actually hard to podcast and play chess at the same time.
I know this is working. This is this first time, so
I am still going to beat you.
let's focus on the podcast, okay, bud?
I know. You're going to take it from me. The music. Thank you to everybody who listens. I really hope you guys like my new project. I put a lot of time and effort into it, and so have my friends. You know, everybody's kind of taken on this project to be a part of it, and so it just feels right. You know, it feels like a thorough project. It feels like everybody's excited for it, and everybody feels like they played a part in it, which is super important to me. So thank you, everybody, you know, and to anybody that listens to it and wants to support us and buy physicals and buy the digital. You'll be able to buy the physicals for $20, and that's because they have all the extra content and the USB you can reuse. But if you don't want to buy the USB, the digital copy will be $9.99. And yeah, I hope you all listen to it and let us know what you think of it. And I mean, even if you don't like it, it's feedback is feedback, and we'd love to hear what you think.
So again, that project is coming out November 5th, Vagabonds. You can go check it out on www.daydabanks.com and follow them all on social here. So
my whole life can be found at www.daydabanks.com. Well, everything that I put out anyway.
Okay, so again, we were talking about Star Wars earlier.
I do like Star Wars.
So I guess how would I play it? Because we actually discussed this earlier on the season on the Master Debaters. We actually made reference to who we thought you would be. I don't know if you caught that episode.
I think you call me Han Solo, right?
Yes.
That's funny.
And so we called you. We said you'd be Han.
Nice.
And they had some other people for Chewie, but I said it'd be Achee because he's tall. He's got the fluffy hair.
Yeah.
So and then obviously Taya would be Leia. But what's your opinion? Who would you think that you would be in the Star Wars universe?
If I was in Star Wars, I would be I'd probably be some random ass stormtrooper that has realized what's going on and be like, I'm taking this uniform and I'm getting out of here. I'd be like, I'm taking this though because this is my uniform and I want the helmet. I'm out. I would just be some soldier or something, I'm sure. But Han Solo would be sweet, so I do appreciate that. That'd be hype.
Yeah.
The Force is not strong with this one though. So.
Actually, it was our because we were kind of saying the Grease Wars, and I was going to be Anakin because he was talking about because NJ not close with his father, so I'll be your father. He's like, oh, so I'll be here to rescue you from the grease. So that's how that came into
the Grease Wars.
The Grease Wars.
I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah, we should TM trademarked right here.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay, so now, if you were able to start your life over today and start over any kind of business, what would it be and why?
Like for enjoying or for making money? I mean, like, granted, you want to do both, but like, are you talking about like, would you be like a multi-million-dollar corporation, or would you be like a happy business?
A happy business.
All right.
What would make you happy?
Oh man, there's lots of ideas. Like a rooftop lounge where you could set up telescopes and look up, and you call it the observatory. That'd be cool. Or like a Disneyland for adults, but it'd just be like here you'd have like an indoor warehouse with like a bar, an arcade, laser tag, paintball. That would all be fun.
I don't see why no one has done that yet. Or is there maybe in different cities? Or
I'm sure there is, yeah. But I mean, like,
because again, in Saskatoon, we don't usually get things till it's way too late and uncool.
That's true. The trend's already passed when it hits the prairies normally. But that would actually be a super cool idea. And now all of these things are coming up in my mind. So like a warehouse where you'd have all of it, like all those things inside one big building. And if you owned it, it'd be the coolest. I'd want to just own it just so I could go there at like 2 a.m. with my friends.
Yeah.
Like, close party. It's going down.
It's not going to be a business at all. It's just going to be a chill spot for the boys.
Yeah, a chill spot that just makes money and keeps people happy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think there's anything like that. I've never seen anything like that. But
trademarked.
Yeah. I mean, like, if you wanted to make millions of dollars, I mean, you should probably just start like a toilet paper company. Everybody needs toilet paper. Or,
that is true.
Or an asphalt plant, because they're never going to stop making roads. You know, there's ways to do that. But I mean, 12-year-old self-me would definitely think of something cooler than that.
Oh, that's going to be a question later here. So that's very funny that you mentioned the 12-year-old. But actually, let's just get into that next question here. So Wait.
Wait. You have to move your rook back because you're actually in check.
What? Where?
Queen of King.
He is the chess master, and thank you for giving me an opportunity to not embarrass myself on this podcast.
No,
so what would today's Dayda Banks give 12-year-old Dayda Banks advice of? What would be that advice?
Invest in Bitcoin. When it comes, invest in Bitcoin.
Ooh, that's actually a really good one.
No, well, yeah, definitely that. Yes, definitely Bitcoin. But I would tell myself to be patient, be humble, and nothing good comes fast. So just keep working. You know, I spend a lot of time wanting. You know, you always want things, and you always want them now. And if I could just tell myself back then to just be patient, you know, good things will always come if you're patient, you know. So, yeah, be patient, be humble, good things will come.
Invest in Bitcoin.
Invest in Bitcoin.
Yeah. Actually, I wish I did several times.
Yeah,
and,
or like when I was 12, I mean, even Apple, you know, invest in Apple.
Yeah. Get a paper route and invest.
Yeah. Yeah, tell my dad, we need to sell everything and invest in Bitcoin. I know it sounds stupid. I know.
I had a dream last night that 30-year-old me, or 20, you're 28, 29 now?
Yeah, 29.
29-year-old me came to me and said, invest.
Yeah, invest. Hate that word, but it does make sense.
So be humble, and invest.
Yeah, be humble, invest. No, but yeah, be humble, be patient, and it's okay to be strange. You know, at some point, you being weird will be actually attractive to people.
Actually,
you know?
I think that is really good advice to the younger generation because I remember too, like, you know, in high school and stuff, there's so much pressure to, you know, fit in and be, you know, the norm. And now it's like when you get older, it's like, I'm happy, I'm straight, I'm different than all these other people.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's you can
Yeah.
see, you know, when you fall, like those people who are the cool people really ain't doing shit these days for the
Yeah.
most part, you know?
Yeah, like I felt like I gave a lot of myself away trying to fit in with people that really, like, now if I looked at it, like, I had no, like, we had nothing in common, you know, like what was I doing, you know, trying to not be who I am. And
Right.
yeah, like at some point, to the young ones, being weird will at one point become an attractive thing to people, you know?
Right.
Like, it's okay to be strange. It is okay, you know? Did you move?
Yes, I moved my queen there to protect my king.
Very nice of you.
So as you think of this next move here, I will ask you, do you consider yourself more of a hunter or a gatherer? You know, this is more First Nation inspired question, but
That's any, like, ancient world question, but I'll give it to you.
no, that's true. That's true.
Hunter, gatherer, probably neither. You know, I'd have been that guy that was like up on the hill, in like a loincloth, been like up there, like we should build a temple. You know? We'll build a pyramid.
That's actually the perfect question or a perfect answer because it leads in again to this next question. It's like you had the questions beforehand or something like that. But
You did mention a few of them, yeah.
so
That's a legit answer. That's exactly what it would have been. You'd be like, you need to go get berries. I'd be like,
I'm gonna go look at the stars.
yeah, I'm waiting till evening. Yeah. I do my work in the dark.
So as you you know, when there's the hunters and gatherers out there, you're looking up at the sky, aliens come down. Yeah, you have one question to ask them. What's that question and why would you ask it?
Can it be like a two-part question?
Yes.
What took you so long? And how much do I have to pay you to come with you? How much will it cost for you to take me with you? I need to see it all.
How many goats is it gonna cost?
Yeah, how many? Because, I mean, like, I was the only one pointing up at you guys on this hill here. You
Yeah.
know? So, like, I mean,
I'm obviously weird. You know, it's cool to be weird now. So.
Yeah, they'd be like, no, you just stay and build your temple. I'd be like, motherfuckers.
So now, science is not the cool thing around our tribe. It's Jesus. Jesus' second coming. Now he comes down. What's your first question to him? And this could be a two-part question as well.
Jesus comes?
Yes.
I would say, show me something indisputable that proves everything, because there is a lot of different religions and there's a lot of different views. So show me something that is undeniable. Also, can we just do bad things to bad people for the next little while? Because it seems like a lot of good people have bad things happening to them. Seems like fair.
So you'd be like, why? Why do you do this?
Why? Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. That was a left field question.
I like to bring out the left field questions, you know?
Fantastic.
Where did I bring my phone over here?
Possibly.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. There it is. But I believe the next question is, do you pay attention to the current political landscape in the world? With that, do you believe that we are on the actual verge of a nuclear war? And do you think we'll see that in our lifetime?
Wow. A nuclear war in our lifetime, do I believe that that's a possible thing?
Yes.
100%. And I think it's ridiculous that is... Oh, man, you could get me started on some stuff here.
I don't know. We got nothing but time.
It's undeniable that we couldn't do that, and it's a damn shame that, you know, somebody can almost spark a war over Twitter by typing the wrong things. Yeah, you know I'm talking to you, Donald. You big dick. Yeah, politics is ridiculous. I like the way Joe Rogan puts it. I like it when he said, you know, the word president is stupid, and it was first written with a feather. And, you know, everything else changes, but we seem to hold on to these old ways. But I think the fact that there is nuclear bombs that were invented, you know, how did we get there?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's a better question. You know, in one room they're making medicine, in the next room they're making bombs that can kill 1 million people. What right do we have to make something that can kill millions of people?
Did you hear, I said don't quote me on this, but my understanding is that Albert Einstein came over to the States during the war era there, and he believed that the Nazis were on the verge of creating a nuclear weapon, which sparked the Manhattan Project.
Yeah, like the atom bomb. Yeah, and I mean, there's no doubt. Like you look at what was the name, Arthur von Braun. He was like the rocket whiz. He was like Albert Einstein of Germany. You know, I've read plenty of times that they said that if the Germans in World War II would have had an extra 6-7 months, it would have been catastrophic for the world. So I really don't know what that entails, but they were much smarter than we were, like with designing weaponry. And again, you know, when you actually read into World War II, like the shit that we were doing is ridiculous. It's inhumane, and it never should have happened. And the fact that we could do that to other people is ridiculous. Like I've said before, if somebody was saying, like, what would you do if somebody knocked at your door being like, you're drafted and you're going to war, and it's because the president says you have to, or we're going to war here and you have to go, and they're like, oh, well, patriotism, you got to go. But I'd be like, if somebody knocked on my door and be like, you're going to war, I'd be like,
I'll go to jail.
I'd be like, yeah, fuck you, I'm not going. Like I don't believe in your wars. I definitely respect the countries and everything, but I think anybody could look at me and be like, oh, you know, shame on you, you know, but I just think it's ridiculous that the world has gone this route, you know, with where we're at, you know, and the way we've developed our world, you know, border lines, they're not real walls, they're imaginary lines, you know, like they're like, oh, no, he's from over here and he wants to come here, or she's over there, you know, it's all one world. And so the fact that we've got it so split up, you know, it's ridiculous, and we make weapons to protect each other from one another. It's so frustrating. It is. It really. Yeah. It's sickening. You know. It's actually. Oh man.
Not only that, it's weapons that can literally destroy the world like 50 times over. You know, which is like, what? Do we really need this? You know?
Yeah. It's ridiculous. It's sickening. And yeah, you look at the 40s, and I mean, throughout history, that's what we've done, is we've destroyed each other. You know, like it's quite sad, really. And I mean, there's so much in there. There's politics that cause wars. There's greed. There's religion has caused wars. There is just so much people not being united in the world for thousands of years that, yeah, I get it. It's like, oh yeah, either kill or be killed. But I mean, you'd think that we're smarter than that now. You know, and that's where I've come down to that statement before, when you say the public is stupid.
Right.
You know, people are very smart. I can have a conversation with anybody and get my point across, and they can say what they want to me, and I'll understand too, and you can have a really, really genuine intellectual conversation. But when one person tries to speak to a crowd, there's always people that ruin progress, right?
Yes.
So, who's at the door?
Who is that? Who is this? Should we take a quick pause?
Pause. We're in the middle of that. It's locked. I interrupted. Yeah, no offense to anybody. Like I said, all one-on-one, you're all very, very smart. In groups, we tend to make reckless decisions that are, you know, they're not better for us. You know, people slow us down. You know, we could be so much more than we are. And we're not. It's like the whole world hunger thing. There's no world hunger. We're just not, organized enough.
Yeah.
There's no population we're not overpopulated. We're just not diversified enough.
Well, they say too that if you take a fraction of the U.S. military spending, that could stop all hunger across the world easily. You know?
Yeah. Like that's why I was so like, I wasn't even shocked at that point, because like I said, in big groups of millions of people, we're very stupid. But I was really, really shocked that Bernie Sanders didn't have a better chance at winning. Like, you know, we're going to take money from the military and give you guys free education. So you'll be smarter and make better decisions. And they didn't vote for him, you know. Yeah, it's the military budgets and what they spend on. Yeah, you could spend probably $30 billion and eradicate poverty in the United States. You could probably, I mean, Canada is a fraction of that, and any other country, you know, like there is food and there is space for everybody. I mean, granted, we don't need to all have like 7 or 8 kids or anything like that. Yeah, you're going to exponential growth, right? But right now there isn't a problem. We're just not solving it, you know?
Yeah, the sad thing with this, like you bring out Bernie Sanders with, this last election cycle was when they voted for, I don't like saying his name, we talk about all the master debaters all the time, but Mr. over there, everyone they voted for him is like, hey, this is a fuck you to the government. You know, we're going to fuck the establishment. But in reality, Bernie Sanders would have been that guy.
Yeah, man. Like
You know?
he was a genius. I think it's just because he looked like an old crazy guy, you know. But
He's like Master Yoda,
yeah,
rolling up.
yeah.
You know.
I was like, come on, man. Yoda was ugly.
Yeah.
You know? But Bernie would have been the man. I mean, he would have done amazing things for that country, and like
For the world.
yeah,
You know.
yeah, absolutely. Like to the rest of the world, I think they view. You know how they say like North Korea is like sheltered, and they're like they don't know what's going on in the world. I think that's also very true about people in some states and things like that. Like they don't really understand that the rest of the world thinks that their whole country is causing problems,
Right.
too, you know. And so it's sometimes it's like a realization thing. It's the same as like the oil thing. You know, we have the means to have renewable energy, so why wouldn't we? Oh, because the money.
The money.
So then use government grants to let them to transfer to renewables, you know, or like there's no water in California, but you can make fresh water on a yacht with desalination. So make big ones. Oh, well, that'll cost billions. It's like you just print money anyway. What do you care? You
And
know?
that's saying, what is money really?
Yeah, God forbid it goes to a good cause. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, people are ridiculous, you know, and it's always politics that slows it down, and it's always somebody else's opinion, or somebody's getting hurt, or you're affecting somebody's views on society or on their religion, and everybody always gets their feelings hurt. But it's like there is, it would be like this is what we need to do, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we could make the world probably a lot better than what it is. But it would just take big corporations taking less money. I like Bill Gates, you know, like I think Bill Gates for president.
2020.
Yeah,
Gates 2020.
Yeah, like he is, he just donated 1.6 or 1.7 billion to the U.S. school system. He also said that he thought the top 1% that are taking and sucking all the money out of the economy should be the ones paying the heavier taxes. And he said, I'll put up the first 2 billion. You know, I like that guy. I think he's a very humble, smart individual. I think he's a genius, you know, among men. Maybe they should make a statue of him. Or Steve Jobs, you know, like they did of pharaohs and stuff 2,000 years ago. Hopefully somebody finds a statue of Steve Jobs 2,000 years from now, you know.
Yeah.
The pioneer. You know? I don't know. But, I mean, who's to say, right? We live in a messed up world right now.
So, kind of going with that, with the political landscape around the world, you are a world traveler. You've done a lot of traveling. Is that something you take in consideration? Because I know you got some travels coming up in the future here. Is that something that's gonna? Do you take that into consideration, or is it more just? Because I know the captain, Captain Sherrard, he made this good point because he lives in London. And obviously, a lot of terrorist attacks going on there, and we always ask him like, are you okay over there? Like, he's like, his answer was, if you live a life in fear, they win. Is that something you kind of take in when you travel, or is it just one of those things where you just...
Yeah, I mean, like, I look at it and say you can't not do things because there's bad stuff happening. There's always been bad stuff happening. You know, I think we live in a world that's really interconnected, so never before have people been able to find out about bad news so fast. You know, like, things spread viral in people's opinion, everybody gets heated. Like, for instance, like, what's something bad that just happened? The shooting in Las Vegas.
Yes.
Terrible, you know. But people knew about it 5 minutes after, 10 minutes after, and all of a sudden it spread to hundreds of millions of people. Like 100 years ago, you would have heard about that 3 months later.
Right.
You know, like that type of thing. So we have this, we have a very short fuse right now. So, but no, like I'm not going to let that stop me from doing things. I was in London, maybe a week or 2 after that stadium bombing, and those people were running around stabbing people.
That Ariana Grande concert?
Yeah. And like the Borough Market, somebody was there getting stabbed, and people are getting hit on the bridges. Like we were walking across that bridge like a week later, but I honestly, it was I wasn't worried about it at all. Like I don't. The chances of something like that happening twice, you know, again, very, very slim. But what was really, really cool was the people in the city didn't let it faze them. You know, there was people everywhere, and like people were talking about it a bit, but they were out at the pubs drinking beside that bridge outside. Like it wasn't like it let people change them. They're like, bad shit's gonna happen. We can only move forward. So that whole internet thing that we're talking about, it also seems like there's a collective of people that are not holding on to things. They're moving forward, you know, and they're progressive. People are very, very progressive that way. So no, like I don't worry about anything happening to me in those situations, and if something happens to me, I just try to make sure that I'm smart enough that I would know what to do, which is, I mean, depending on the situation, right?
Yeah.
No, I don't know, but I mean...
Well, when you're traveling with Taya, though, you got to be the man, and step
Yeah.
up and do something, right?
Well, like there's certain places I wouldn't go. Like I wouldn't take her to some
Yeah.
places, or I mean, there's places I would go with my friends that I wouldn't go with Taya, or just girls in general, just because it doesn't seem like it's a safe place
Right.
for them. And I mean, that's just how it is in some places, you know. What do you do other than go a different time? But I'm not going to let it ever stop me from doing things. Yeah, so I actually plan on traveling more. If there was things going on, like you have tension in North Korea and stuff like that, like if a war...
Just don't go to South Korea.
Yeah,
Maybe.
like, we're planning on doing some stuff in Southern Asia this next year, and if there actually is like a war going on there, I would imagine that we probably won't go to that area because it would just seem
Dumb.
yeah, unless you were there doing something, you know, like if you were there and you were trying to capture something on footage or trying to be a part of it, well, within that realm, you know, and trying to capture something, then you'd go. But no, I wouldn't take her there, or I wouldn't take anybody there in that situation. It just doesn't seem logical, right?
So that wraps up my questions here today. Was there anything else you want to touch base on today, or?
No, I mean, like, to anybody that listens, thank you. Thank you for everything you've given us and you've put into me. So, I mean, if you took another hour to listen to my opinions, thank you. If anybody doesn't agree with my political or my ideals or what I think is right in the world or not, we'll never agree. You know, like, I am the way I am, and I think the world could be a lot better than it is, but I'm not going to let it stop me from enjoying it, you know.
Well, that wraps up this episode of Talking Greatness. As you can see, I will concede this chess mask.
No, we got to finish this after the... Yeah,
Okay. He had me a checkmate, but we'll finish it out.
Yeah,
We'll let you know who wins. But that wraps up this episode. Vagabonds by Dayda Banks comes out November 5th. Watch for it, daydabanks.com, and follow him on all the social media. And, yeah.
Remember the 5th of November.
Peace.
Cheers.